And from denied exam search directives to court to parliament and a possible cancer epidemic scare and more, this is Joy News Prime with me, Blessed Sugan. Stories this hour. Ghana Education Service denies claims that it has instructed BEC supervisors and invigilators to thoroughly search candidates, including their private parts, before allowing them to enter the examination hall. We have details of this controversial directive. Over 40,000 cancer cases recorded in Ghana every year. The Ghana Medical Association fears of a possible cancer epidemic. We'll get you details. And ganging up against one of their own is rare, but Finance Committee chairperson is coming under fire from his own New Patriotic Party colleagues who allege he is sitting on tax waivers requests, refusing to work on them. We have details as the NDC minority leadership is coming to his defense. We are also taking you to court as the judges are warning Assin North Member of Parliament James Quayson will be directed to represent himself if his lawyers fail to show up in court by Monday. Well, tonight the Ghana Education Service is denying claims that it has given authorization to supervisors and invigilators to thoroughly search private parts of all candidates sitting this year's basic certificate examination before they are allowed to enter the examination hall. The widely circulated document, purportedly signed by GES Director for Wage Agbawi Charles Odum, gives further warrant for a search of hijab-wearing students or any other candidate wearing a head covering. Here are excerpts of that controversial directive given earlier, which was widely circulated on social media. So point 4 of it is what has come under sharp contention. The fact that court supervisors and invigilators are authorized to thoroughly search all candidates, including their private parts, before they are allowed to enter the examination hall. They are also permitted to search the candidates, those wearing head coverings, as we have indicated in point 4 of that statement. But some parents are beginning to raise concerns that these far-reaching examination regulations could infringe on the privacy of the young students sitting for the basic examination, especially for the young girls who may even be in their menstrual periods. Here are some parents.
PTA. Now they said we don't have PTA, but we have parent associations. I'm a chairman of a school. And if those decisions have been taken, at least the GES is supposed to inform us so that we know how to talk to our children in the house before they will go and then write their exams. But they just cannot sit down and then bring anything that they wish it is good for them. The main issue that they are to tackle is where the exam papers are coming from. That is the issue. They should be able to tackle those areas first before coming to the children.
For that party, I would say no, because it will even give an effect to the children. So I think that the invigilators must be many, more in the class, so that they will go around to check. I think when there are many in the class to check what is going on, how they are writing the BC, I think that one will be better than checking that domestic things. Yeah.
It's good that they are doing it, but women they should search ladies, and the men should search the boys. It's right, because as for searching, it's searching. They should search them everywhere, because children of nowadays, they are very smart.
Well, some parents there are on the streets of Accra, but a few hours ago, Joy News has cited a post from the Ghana Education Service explaining what sort of authorization was actually given to supervisors. In a post, it sought to clarify the controversial point 4, which has since gone viral on social media, and there you have it, indicating now that supervisors and court invigilators are authorized to thoroughly search all candidates. It does not go further to point out whether or not that would include the private parts of students, which is courts. Some sort of public uproar. There's also the first one that we were pointing out earlier, which shows the stark difference between what the GES is pointing out now and what we have contained in the earlier documents. All features of the statements remain the same, except for point 4, which is highlighted on your screens now. And of course, let me just read that to you once more, indicating that supervisors and invigilators are authorized to thoroughly search all candidates, including their private parts, before they are allowed to enter the examination hall. They are also permitted to search candidates wearing head coverings, including veils. But this is the original copy which the Ghana Education Service is pointing out. It fell short of whether or not, the thorough search should include the private parts. But all it says at point 4 now, according to the Ghana Education Service, is that supervisors and invigilators are authorized to thoroughly search all candidates. Let's hear from Divine Kwe. He's Senior Programs Officer at the Africa Education Watch. Thank you, sir, for spending some time with us. Controversial statements, but now it's been clarified by the Ghana Education Service. We know that all of this is targeted at dealing with exam malpractices. Are we not in an advanced stage where we could introduce some more reforms instead of, using these far-fetched mechanisms?
Oh, I thank you to your viewers. I'm glad that clarity has been provided on this because it's very controversial. Yes, this that are in the results made a use, but and overall, I think this is just strengthening the examination process so that we can address that to some extent the irregularities that we are experiencing year in, year out. So yes, this is just an effort, but it goes beyond just testing the students in order to address issues of examination.
And we know that the Africa Education Watch has been carrying out a campaign talking about the need for some reforms when it comes to exam malpractices. You carried out a research on that, correct?
Yes. So we have this will be our 4th year of doing or monitoring the watching, for which we have made a lot of recommendations for the reform process for as far as OPC and then the watching are concerned. For us, when it comes to the BEC, one thing we noticed in the previous and especially last year was that the NID was introduced and they complemented the efforts of the Ghana Police, and that has been very helpful. It is just my hope that this year too, the NID will be part of the monitoring process during the printing of NID, the distribution of the application. But also, it's very important that
Divine, we seem to be having a challenge hearing you, but if I get the point, you're saying that indeed you carried out the research and you're pointing to some more recommendations.
Yes. I said if you observe the last year, you notice that issues of examination irregularity have been on the low end because the NID has been involved in the process to complement the efforts of the Ghana Police. And we strongly believe they should be part of this year's process as well, given the fact that their participation in last year has been so helpful. And then also, when it comes to supervision, WIAP will need to engage more hands when it comes to external supervisors, because we notice that the limited number of external supervisors they are having is actually testing the issues of examination irregularities at the centers, because we don't see external invigilators at a center at a time. Maybe one invigilator or supervisor is supervising about 5 centers. So if he or she is at this center, it means that
all right.
they will be accessing another center. So we need to engage more hands in that aspect as well.
Right. Grateful, Divine Kwe, with the Africa Education Watch. Taken out to Parliament, it is unprecedented, and in a very unprecedented fashion. We've found the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, tonight meeting with MPs to discuss the media budget review set to be presented on Monday. Joining us understands leadership of Parliament, and the Minister agreed to this meeting to avoid some surprises that may come up on Monday. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Quayson joins us via Zoom with details of this very meeting that took place a couple of hours ago in Parliament. That meeting is done, Kweku. What are we learning about today's engagement?
So we are learning of a number of assurances that the minority have been able to extract from Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, mainly having to do with whether or not there will be taxes or no new taxes in the media budget review that is set to be presented. The Finance Ministry had not given any indication whether or not there will be any new revenue measures. But at the start of the new meeting in Parliament, the Majority Chief Whip had made a post on Twitter to suggest that there are some new revenue measures that government is expecting to bring in, which had heightened the minority MPs' views that there could be new taxes coming in. But the Finance Ministry has told MPs today that he cannot confirm or deny that taxes will be coming, but says he has good news to share with the public on Monday. So that is on the first call. The other kind of assurances they've been able to get have to do with matters having to do with the statutory funds, Get Fund, and other such statutory funds which have been starving of funds in the past few weeks. The finance minister said money should be released, and then this media budget review will do some reallocation and make sure that all such funds get what they need. So those are the two key issues that we've had. But then finally, one big assurance is that the finance minister may not be asking for more money from MP, from Parliament when he presents the media budget on Monday, and that he's just going to realign what he has, make sure that the economy is in good shape, but that he's not going to ask for further figures.
I see. And you've been interacting with some members of Parliament on this. Any expectation?
Yes, indeed. Some of them say that they expect government to cut expenditure. The member of Parliament for Traial in particular, talking about that government expenditure is still bloated. They need government to show commitment that this country is an economic crisis. We've also heard from another member of Parliament on the minority front who believe that Get Fund must be given adequate resources to be able to do what they are doing in the education sector. So these are the MPs and what they expect from Monday's media budget review presentation. Let's listen.
My expectation on Monday is that the minister is going to give us an assurance that Get Fund is going to be treated better than they did during the 2023 budget session, because I raised an issue about that if Get Fund was going to rake in, the tax was going to rake in about 4.6 billion, why do you give them only 1.8? And because of that, there is a shortfall in their budget. They cannot do much this year. And we raised that issue, we deliberated upon it. He promised that he will do something about it during the mid-year review. So I'm expecting that something more in terms of a release will be added to whatever they have given Get Fund so far. That's my greatest expectation.
My understanding is he wants to brief us on the events that have happened since the last time he appeared before Parliament. So we are going there. There are issues about common fund, this Assembly's common fund, which we will discuss. These are the meetings. And I think that he will also highlight issues concerning the mid-year budget review, which we are going to take on Monday. So that's what briefly we are going to do.
What are your own expectations for the mid-year budget review on Monday?
I will expect that the minister should come forward this time to boldly reduce expenditure. Government expenditure is too much, and we are not bridging the fiscal gap. So if we are constrained raising more revenue, because already the revenue tax handles that we approved the last time, there is difficulty realizing revenue from it. So the other option is to cut down on expenditure, but we are not hearing anything from that side. That's my worry. So we hope that from the IMF oversight that has been happening, the minister should be bold enough to cut down on expenditure.
Well, let's stay in the House because it is rare for MPs to gang up against their own colleague, let alone one in leadership. But Chairperson of the Finance Committee of Parliament, Quayson, has come under a barrage of criticisms from his colleagues. He's been accused of sitting on hundreds of tax waivers requests and also refusing to bring them to the floor for approval. Listen to the Chairperson of the Trade and Industry Committee, Assin, describing his conduct as unacceptable.
When we go on recess,
hear from Assin shortly, but it is not only that MP who's going after the Chairperson of the Finance Committee, Quayson, Minister for Trade and Industry, also Katie Hammond has also, in an unprecedented fashion, filed an urgent question seeking to hold Kweku Kwanting himself before the House to answer questions on the tax waivers and why his committee is not approving them. Well, it is the minority leadership this time around who are rising to the defense of Kweku Kwanting. First, listen to the minority leader, Dr. Quayson, who says that the attempt to blame the chairperson of the Finance Committee is unturnable.
This House rejected those referrals and asked the Finance Committee to relook and do further research into the matter. And Mr. Speaker, it is not right and it is wrong for you to think that the Finance Committee, of which I'm a member, has failed to sit on the referrals. We sat on it, we brought it to this House rejected it and referred it back to the Finance Committee to look at it again. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, we are not able to submit those referrals. Mr. Speaker, we are talking of 150 tax exemptions, 150 companies, amounting to billions of cedis. Mr. Speaker, at the time that the government needs every revenue, and this House has referred it back to the Finance Committee. So nobody should blame the chairman of the Finance Committee for not doing his job. The trouble is that this House rejected them and asked the Finance Committee to relook into the matter and rebring it. And that is why we have not been able to...
Well, let's listen now to the chairperson of the Trades Committee in Parliament, Carlos Ahinkra.
When we go on recess and there are exemptions in this House to be granted, you put the investors in that situation whereby they have to wait for us to come up from recess before they can go and process the document. That is if the exemption is given. We are sitting in this room, we have exemption requests since 2021. 2021. And it is giving us problems, it's giving a headache. Are you telling me that every serious investor coming to this country who has borrowed money from the bank should sit down for 2 years before they get the exemption to clear the goods from the port? What are you doing to industry? You are killing industry.
Honorable Chair, honorable member, I think we are reducing.
But I'm holding this House responsible for what is happening.
And now, Minority Chief Whip Kwame Gavin-Agbodza also says Parliament must not be rushed to just approving tax waivers when so many of the waivers approved in the past have not been used by the beneficiary companies.
Somebody is deliberately stifling the passage of tax waivers. And let me remind you that we have granted tax waivers to many companies who are actually not doing anything. And you know about it. So encouraging us to be giving tax waivers just because the people have demanded it is not correct. Find out from yourself. We've granted tax waivers in millions of dollars for the construction of the Pullman Hotel. Go to the site now and find out if any construction is going on there. Go to La General Hospital. We've granted tax waiver for La General Hospital. Is there any project going on there? We've granted tax waiver for Shamar District Hospital. Is there any project going on there? We've granted plenty. So why are you in the interest of shepherding or championing tax waivers? Are you a chairman just interested in tax waivers? What you are doing, and to the extent that you singled out the chairman of the Finance Committee, who is doing the right thing by scrutinizing the tax waiver to make sure that only those who actually are capable of doing the project get the tax waiver.
Now to the courts, and Accra High Court, presided over by Justice Mary Anzo, has served notice Assin North Member of Parliament James Chachi Quayson would have to conduct his own case should his lawyers fail to show up on Monday. This was after the court had announced it had received a letter from Mr. Quayson's lawyer indicating his absence. The court stated it intends to have the state's first witness complete his testimony before rising for legal vacation on July 31st. Legal Affairs correspondent Joseph Akable has the rest of the story.
The High Court first dealt with the issue of contempt. Lawyers for the legislators say Trades Minister K.T. Hammond had made prejudicial comments. The minister had in a television interview stated that it would be better for Mr. Quayson to leave Parliament since he would end up in jail. NDC's Director of Legal Affairs, Abraham Amaliba, on Friday represented Mr. Quayson since his lawyers were absent.
Oh, the minister made comments. He made comments. And those are the comments that we have brought to court. Those comments we think affect the trial of James J.J. Quayson, and that's why we brought him to court.
I mean, we've seen the content of that comment. We've seen others
make such similar comments.
Yes.
I mean, is there any reason why you've not brought any such action against those other individuals?
Or we choose our victims. Everybody chooses his victim. So we've decided that we are bringing Katie Amo. Maybe another day it will be somebody else. So today we have chosen our victim to be Katie Amo.
The minister, Katie Hammond, maintains it is the court's duty to decide his guilt.
But ultimately, it's not for them to decide. The arbiter of these matters is the presiding judge. So, no, but I was misinformed. I was told that the hearing was at 11:30, but my lawyers were there.
Yes.
My understanding is that it's been adjourned to October, sometime
19.
October.
So first, you have appointed 31st to file the processes.
Oh, you know all this?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay.
We questioned Amaliba on why they picked you because a lot of
Katie,
people
I want to always be a target. You do know that.
The court has set October 19 to deliver its ruling. It then heard a criminal trial of the legislator. Justice Marianzu announced she had received a letter communicating the absence of the lawyer for the MP, Justin Teriwaja. She had additionally been informed that Mr. Quayson will also need medical attention during the legal vacation, so the case should resume in October. Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tuan Yeboah wished the lawyer speedy recovery, but pointed out that the state's witness has been testifying for too long.
Yes, if the lawyer is indisposed, that's what I said. You have to wish him a speedy recovery. But I made a point that the witness has been in the box for over 1 year. It would be unfair to ask such a witness to come back next year to continue being the witness for him to cross-examine. That's why we made a prayer. Fortunately, we have 1 more day for the court to see before the year ends. So on Monday, we'll come to court. The cross-examination has to be finished so that we take a date for the other witness to come in.
I mean, the judge has warned that in the event the witnesses, the accused person's lawyer fails to come, he would have to conduct the cross-examination himself. I mean, that would definitely not be fair to him.
That's be fair to him. Go to the other courts. It's done daily. If your lawyer chooses not to come, you are also asked to do the business that you're supposed to do. But I hope that on Monday, because the letter that his lawyer wrote, he said he's asking for 3 days. That will expire on Sunday. So Monday he has to be here.
A legal practitioner, Thomas Obing, announced himself as a friend of the court, but was not allowed to address it. He believes the court nonetheless reached a fair conclusion.
Yeah. The case has been adjourned for Monday, 31st, at 1 p.m. Obviously, the lawyers were indisposed today, and so the judge has adjourned the case for Monday, 31st. So that's what I have to say.
I mean, is he satisfied with what has been decided? Because there is the possibility that
I can't make any judgment on what the judge says.
Well, looking at the situation, we think it's okay. It's okay.
I mean, the judge says in the event the lawyers fail to show up, he would have to conduct the cross-examination himself.
When we get there, when we get to the bridge, we will cross it. So we cannot make comment on it as it is now.
I mean, Counsel, you announced yourself as a friend of the court. What information did you want to provide? You didn't seem to have been given an opportunity to speak.
I don't want to go there. That is okay. Because what I would have said was said by the Attorney General. Now, even if you had given me the opportunity, there was not much I was going to add to what the Attorney General has told the court. But everything was captured in the letter that was written by Jerry Waja, the counsel for the accused person, to the court. And so it was enough to serve the purpose.
The case resumes on July 31 with the court warning the MP will conduct the case himself if his lawyers fail to show up.
And now the Ghana Medical Association has raised fears of a possible cancer epidemic in Ghana as cases continue to surge every year. Currently, 40,000 cases of all forms of cancers are recorded across the country, resulting in 15,000 deaths every year. The data also identified alcohol and tobacco use as the major causes of cancers amongst patients. This was reviewed at the 27th GMA Annual Public Lecture to engage stakeholders on the way out of this menace. There's more in the following report.
The rising numbers in cancer cases globally have become a major source for concern as the World Health Organization labels the disease as the second major contributor to death.
And the figures have revealed that over 10 million cancer-related deaths occur across the globe every year, and 70% of these come from low and medium-income countries like Ghana. Now, the fear is that by 2040, there may be more cancer cases across the globe than HIV, AIDS, and TB put together.
The situation has compelled the Ghana Medical Association to dedicate this year's 27th public lecture to engage stakeholders on the challenge. Delivering the keynote address, Associate Professor of Epidemiology and Public Health at the University of Ghana Medical School, Professor Benedict Calistego revealed that Ghana records about 40,000 cancer cases annually.
Breast cancer tops the list. For every 100,000 Ghanaians, about 66 of them would have breast cancer. So that brings it, if you work with 31 million, you are talking about over 20,000 breast cancer cases. Then it is followed by cervical cancer, which doesn't appear at the global level because it's a preventable disease, but we are still battling with it. And it's number 2. For every 100,000, we have about 39 people with cervical cancer. Then prostate cancer, followed by cancer of the ovary, and then that of the liver. So these are the overall 5-year prevalence, that's total burden. When we look at the new cases, again in the estimates we had 24,000 new cancer cases as per the 2020 report. And for our childhood cancers, on the average, we are having about 400 new cases annually.
Although the risk of cancer is sometimes attributed to aging, Professor Calistego said bad lifestyle choices are increasing the risk factors, including alcohol and tobacco use, especially shisha. He also warns of the health threats associated with oral sex.
Shisha is very trending among the youth now, especially the females. And it is no less harmful than cigarette smoking. In fact, in a shisha session, which usually lasts for 20 to 80 minutes, a shisha smoker can inhale the same amount of smoke as a cigarette smoker consuming 100 sticks of cigarettes. Yes, you heard me right, 100 sticks. So in case you were thinking shisha is a safe option, passing it through water doesn't make it any less harmful. God in his wisdom put certain things together. So when you go for weddings, you'll be told what God has put together, let no man put asunder. The reverse is also true. What God has put asunder, let no man put together. The good Lord in his wisdom put them out.
And thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. We'll be back shortly. And thanks for staying with us. Piped water users within Pramso water supply area in the Bosomtwe district of the Ashanti region are grappling with higher iron water contamination. For over a decade now, water distributed through pipelines in the community is heavily polluted with iron and residues with no established source of contamination. Efforts by community water suppliers to service and to resolve the issue through a periodic flashing of water lines have only incurred some financial losses to the water station. Emmanuel Bright-Kweku has been assessing the situation.
Learning Forum of the Network of Community Water Services, NETCOWAS, it emerged that the Pramso community continues to battle an old-age iron water contamination, with most households unable to consume the water. The community's initial underground water source, built in 2005, was shut down nearly 6 years ago after a new source was constructed to help the situation, but the problem persists. Isaac Amankwa is systems manager for the Pramso water supply area.
The Pramso water system is actually facing some challenges on iron content in our water. It's high when there is no water running through the pipelines. We go for a water test at Ghana Water Company to test to see the content of iron, if we can still use it or we have to shut the system down. But from the various tests that we've conducted, it seems the iron content is usable, so we are able to use the water. But the iron content is not automatically out of the water. We have no intention of changing because we've drilled 2 boreholes. Each of them has iron content in it, so there's a possibility that when you drill another, you get the same.
Managers at the water station develop strategies to flush water lines occasionally to reduce the chemical concentration to various households. Although a significant amount of the contamination is decreased through the process, this interim solution is rather overburdening the water station with huge electricity costs.
It's high when there's no water running through the pipelines, but after some times then we get water passing through the pipe connection lines for about 2 hours, then the iron stain settles. We have to let the system or the pump machine stay on for a long time, because when you shut the machines off and there's no water being pumped into the lines, then the pipelines becomes dry for the iron content to be high again. So it's costing the system too much.
Experts indicate that huge sums of money are required for the water treatment.
And outpatient emergency services at various health centers in the Ashanti region have been impacted by the ongoing strike by physician assistants. The Ghana Physician Assistants Association is embarking on some industrial action over claims of a planned legislation that they believe will disempower its members. Nanayao Wachi Adam reports that some healthcare centers in the Ashanti region are empty as a result of the strike.
Physician assistants in the Ashanti region joined the industrial action to prevail on the Ghana Medical and Dental Council to stop any attempt to amend the Health Professional Bodies Act, Act 857. They are protesting what they claim to be attempts to place members under the direct supervision of medical doctors. OPDs of some health centers across the Ashanti region, including the Antoa and Kenyasi healthcare centers, have been closed as nurses direct patients to other government hospitals. This has led some patients to be stranded.
I came this morning. I couldn't sleep the whole night. I was running diarrhea and I had temperature. So I came to see the doctors and the nurses to take care of me. But since I came here in the morning around 7 o'clock, I met no doctor. It's the nurses I met, and they also couldn't take care of me. They couldn't help me. So I'm pleading with the government to do something to help these doctors so that they will come back and take care of us.
I
am not feeling well. When I came, I saw no PA.
Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Ghana Physician Assistant Association, Michael Kofieje, says the group will resist any attempt to sabotage physician assistants.
It's a kind of divide and rule tactic that is going on in our line of work, and we don't understand. We want the right things to be done. We need clarity. We don't know why all of a sudden there's been reviews and we are not aware, and it's being pushed to the place of law so that it will be solidified. But these things have very detrimental effects on the health of the Ghanaian, let me say the ordinary Ghanaian.
According to Mr. Ajay, the association will totally withdraw services until their demands are met.
Until you get what you want, you come back down. There's a roadmap. We started on the 24th. We withdrew OPD services. And yesterday, 27th, or was it 26th? 27th, we withdrew emergency services. And next week, the 1st, as a total withdrawal. So you will not find the physician assistant anywhere in the environment of the health centers or the hospitals.
Meanwhile, nurses at the Kenyasi and Antoa healthcare centers are directing patients to other government hospitals.
We stay in the health sector because the Registrar of the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency has lauded the commitment of the Christian Health Association of Ghana for demonstrating commitment and drive towards improving healthcare delivery within its facilities across the country. We have more.
Speaking at the Maiden Quality Safe Care and Quality Improvement Awards organized by Farm Access Ghana and Safe Care in collaboration with HEFRA, Dr. Philip Anobano said the Quality Improvement Partnership with Safe Care helps the Health Regulatory Agency to work towards minimizing errors in healthcare delivery and promotes quality healthcare.
Minimizing errors and promoting what is good. Recently, there was, I think it made the news, in the U.S., I have the U.S. data, so not because I favor them over any here, but I have the data from there. Nearly 800,000 people either died or suffered serious disability or sequelae from missed diagnosis a year. 375 of them say died. So the 425,000 suffered a disability. It means that you have to live with this. So with that as a background, we have reason to work together. And for Safe Care and pharmacists and for everybody here, I thank you and I thank you and I thank you. I can't say thank you enough. Let me tell you what this does for HEFRA. I'll get to that in a minute, but let me go over some of the issues first. So, issues like hospital-acquired infections. You don't go to a hospital to get an infection, do you? You're supposed to get better, so we must work towards that.
Speaking to Joy News after the awards, the Executive Director of the Christian Health Association of Ghana, Dr. Peter Yeboah, said 91% of all SHAG facilities accessed by Safe Care have recorded performance improvement since 2020. Dr. Yeboah added that by using the Safe Care standards, the country can push to attain global standards of healthcare. In all, 8 facilities and organizations that have made remarkable progress in establishing and implementing systems and processes towards individuals who were awarded, along with 7 individuals were dedicated to promoting and facilitating quality improvement in various healthcare facilities networks in Ghana. Safe Care helps healthcare stakeholders in emerging markets to bridge the quality gaps today for a safer tomorrow.
We now take you up north. The National Democratic Congress Communications Bureau of the Wild West constituency has expressed worry over a litany of projects started by the new Patriotic Party government, which are yet to be completed within the constituency. One of such projects is the 6 number 10-seater toilets projects, which were started in 2017 and have been abandoned by the contractor and sites overtaken by weeds. They are urging government to take a quick step to complete the projects for use by the public, or they will resort to demonstrations. Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam has the rest of the story.
The press conference held by the National Democratic Congress NDC Wild West Constituency Communications Bureau centered on 3 projects whose construction have been on a hiatus for several years. First was the construction of 6 number toilet projects located in 6 communities in the constituency. The 10-seater toilet projects, who started in 2017, were supposed to be completed within 6 months. Almost 72 months after the commencement of the projects, they are yet to be completed. The contractors have abandoned the sites, which are now being overtaken by weeds. Olena Ababasa is the communications officer of the NDC in the Wild West constituency.
These communities include Dolimo, Siriri, Lasie, Ga, Wichao, and Naha. Even if they had coined it in one of their most appealing but good for nothing slogans, such as 1 year, 1 toilet, these projects would have been completed in 2022.
Olina Ababasa noted that the government's broken promises have resulted in a host of consequences impacting the lives of the public.
The absence of inadequate sanitation facilities poses significant health risk, especially for children, the elderly, our vulnerable groups, and those with compromised immune systems. And I am saying that in the SDG goals, this is one of the things that every government and the world over, even UNDP had a project on this, talking about open defecation, how it is not helping us. This is just our water, one of the water bodies in the community. The dam is just here.
And you're watching Joy News Prime. When we return, we'll check out what's happening in showbiz. It's time now for showbiz. Becky's here. Hello, Becky. Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Friday.
Yeah.
You know, yesterday when we were here, the people of Tamale, they were celebrating the Fire Festival.
Oh.
It's called the Bungum Festival. Let me tell you a bit about it.
see.
So the Bungum Festival, which is also known as the Fire Festival, is a cultural religious festivity which marks the beginning of the Dagbon year. The Fire Festival, which is also known as Buyum Chuyu, began in Moli Dagbon when a king's son went wandering and got lost in the wild, and then the entire community went in search of him using grass torches called the Buyum Mupola in Dagbani to light their way. They finally found his remains under a tree, suspecting he had been devoured by a wild animal. They threw the torches away and went home to mourn. It is in this light that the Dagumbas, the Nanumbas, and Mamfusi celebrates the Fire Festival every year to remember the tragic incident and honor the prince.
Also, this is actually the story behind it.
Yeah.
Really, really
So those were some of the highlights
We should
from
be there next
the
year, isn't
festival. But let's also congratulate, yeah, you should, we should, yeah. Let's congratulate Samini and Kokoveli. They have finally graduated from GIMPA. We had a conversation with them.
It feels great to be able to achieve this milestone because it's something that's always been on my mind, something that's always been like a dream for me. So at some point I realized that it was becoming more like just a dream unless I put some work towards it. So I took a break off music, quote unquote break, and then 3.5 years down the lane, here I am feeling proud and well achieved. Yeah, so I'm proud of myself.
How do you manage to balance work, family, music, education, and then what should your music fans expect from today?
Well, for a multi-talented person and you know, someone that can multitask, I believe that you have to be able to prioritize stuff while you plan. So it wasn't that difficult. It was more of me deciding that this is the time to do this and then making time and making provisions for what I wanted to do. So far, it's been a wonderful journey. It's been, I mean, I will do this over and over again, and I encourage everybody that always want to do this to just go for it now.
It's all great, you know, it's something that I really decided to do. It wasn't easy though, but I mean, I feel when you set your mind on something, you need to get it done. So I feel so great that at my age, being able to sit down and learn and even go with a second class upper, that's good.
Awesome. And so, I mean, now you are moving into the corporate world. Is it, I mean, a final goodbye to music, or should we expect a surprise from you?
Well, I study project management, and it goes to it goes everywhere. So with music, you know, there's a lot of projects in music. So maybe I might lay low, get some people done, and then take care of the project.
And I like how both of you were mentioned after the other. How has it been sharing the same class with Samini?
Yeah, it was. Well, I started first. He made
it all happen. I mean, he made it happen. He remembered that we already said it, that we were going to go back to school. So when he started, he just reminded me, picked the form and forced me to go to school. And here we are today as graduates. Zaza!
Who gaga.
Samini and Kokoveli right there. But Samini's family, they were all there to support. Here's Samini's kids and their dad.
It's really inspiring, and it's so great to see, you know, me starting my second year in uni now. It just lets me know that as long as you stay focused and you know how to prioritize time management, all of that, you'll be able to finish and be successful in the end. So it's really inspiring and great to see.
I'm really proud of him, like seeing how far he's come and how much work he's put in. I'm very proud.
I can say that I'm really proud of him, and
I really enjoyed watching him on the TV, and it's really emotional for me.
My congratulations to him for having made it this far. Because it's not easy. I was wondering how he could combine his normal musical rounds with studies in a higher institution. But he has made it. So I'm very, very glad.
That's Amini's dad ending that SOT.
Yeah, that's what we're all excited about.
Yeah,
Very
but we have
inspiring.
Friday karaoke this evening to end the show. This song, Terminator by Kim Promise, is loved by many, including King Gary Nimakon Mafo. He's a lawyer, and he's watching
we know him.
From Kumasi. And we're doing this for all our viewers
Gary.
and also King Gary. Please, Terminator notes.
Yeah, and Abuna notes.
And Abuna, call me later.
Maybe we can ask Cecilia to read. You know.
We end Joy News Prime for this week. We're grateful that you could join us the whole of this week. Blessed, would you be here next week? You're not too sure.
I'm terminating everything this week.
Oh, and you're going back to Paul's.
Probably, you
and
never know.
We can't wait to have, Grace back.
I know that. I know that. For the obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
we need to go.
Oh,